Hey y'all, it's your girl Byrd here, and I wanted to hop on here real quick for about 5-10 minutes because I realized something and I wanted to put an end to what I had realized and really just open up the door for conversations for people. So if you are here, please make sure you let us know in the chat where you're coming from and what you're just excited and grateful for today. Go ahead and put that in the chat and we can communicate. If you know folks that are interested in writing their books, make sure you get them in this room because I want to share something with you all that very there are a lot of people that know this, but then I realized after having a conversation with someone today who I have known and worked with for probably 5 years now on and off. I actually had no idea what I do. And when I told them what I do, they got excited and we ended up having a happy dance today during the meeting. And it was so beautiful. And I want to take this opportunity to really just have a conversation about Byrd's World and what I do and why I even started this business and why it's so important for folks to be able to tell their story. So over the next 5-10 minutes, just want to hop on here and share this with you. For those of you all who don't know me and are joining me for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. As I mentioned, my name is Heather Byrd Roberts, and I am an award-winning poet, author, writing coach, and creator of Byrd's World, where we inspire and transform lives one story at a time. And so what we do is we help ambitious women of color who are first-time nonfiction writers go from frustrated to first draft so they can establish their authority, increase their visibility, and create a massive impact. Y'all, I have a mission. And my mission, my goal is to be able to help at least 1,000 women of color tell their stories by December 31st, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And for those of y'all who know about SMART goals and making sure you put times on things, look here, I am very specific and I am very driven about what I want to be able to do with my business and to help people tell their stories. So, to dig in just a little bit about why I started Byrd's World. Byrd's World literally started on the couch of my mentor's office about, I'm doing math, I'm a poet, hold on, y'all, about maybe 17 years ago. I was sitting on his couch and we were having a conversation. Shout out to Kid Morris. We were having a conversation about what it would look like to build Byrd's World. And this is back when Love Jones was like really hot at the time. So I was picturing this bookstore, these couches, and the sound of the cash register in the background, and creating this open mic in a space for people to share their stories and to really highlight and amplify their voices. Well, that kind of grew from me being 18 to really tweaking and finding out really what I wanted to do. And I had a chance to really hone in on what Byrd's World could be, right? And one of the reasons why I started Byrd's World is because I have realized that adults, as we get older, have a tendency to be stripped of our creativity. We have a tendency to be stripped of our voices, and we spend the majority of our time finding out who we really are and reconnecting to who we used to be. But our creative joy, our ability to have confidence and tell our story has been stripped from us. And on top of that, if you are a woman of color, the idea of you sharing your story in safe spaces has been stripped from you. The feeling of safety has been stripped from you, right? And the more that we are able to really dive into the opportunities of telling our stories, the more we have the opportunity to really see ourselves in the stories that are being told. So I wanted to start and really transform lives in this way by giving women of color the permission to tell their stories, to give women of color the opportunity to share their expertise and their magic. We hold so much magic and we are natural storytellers, but we don't ever see ourselves taking those stories and putting them in a place where our legacy could continue on past us, right? So I wanted to build a space that allowed people to have the permission to play, to have the permission to mess up, to have the permission to figure out what it looks like for you to tell your story in a safe environment and really own your brilliance, own your magic, and have the confidence to share your stories with others. All right. So that's one of the reasons why I created Byrd's World. I am beyond passionate about it. And if you've ever talked to any of my clients, you will know that while they are having their aha moments, I am just as excited for them. I am a firm believer in happy dances and how happy dances can transform your life. And I will have happy dances for them when they realize, and you ask someone, do you have a story to tell? And they might say yes, but they say it with a little hesitation. They might even say no. And that's something that actually breaks my heart because we all have a story to tell. It's just about giving yourself the permission to tell the story, right? And to transform lives through your storytelling. And when we have that aha moment of the story that can actually be told, there is so much magic that happens within that space. I get excited for you, right? So that's one of the reasons why I actually created my course to help people not only set themselves up for a win and really build that creative foundation of being able to get your mind right. Like deciding you're going to write a book today and not have your mind right for that process is kind of setting yourself up for a little bit of failure. It's not entirely impossible, but if you set yourself up to have the right foundation, to have the right practices, to be able to hum your habits, as I like to say, right? To put yourself up um, for success, you have to have the right tools, right? So a lot of us don't end up actually telling our stories for three reasons. And one of the reasons why we don't end up telling our stories, if you do want to write a book, is because you don't have a plan, right? You don't know how to get from point A to point B or point A to X, right? You don't know how to get there. And because you don't know how to get there, you find yourself really overwhelmed. And when you're overwhelmed, you have a tendency to two, procrastinate, right? You say you'll start tomorrow. Well, sometimes we don't get a tomorrow. Sometimes our stories leave with us unexpectedly. And so if you don't have this plan of how to start your book and write your story, you have a tendency to procrastinate, right? And if you're procrastination, there are several reasons why we procrastinate, but one of the main reasons why we procrastinate is because we're diving into this new knowledge and this new pathway, and we don't necessarily know how to get there. But there is an answer to that in order for you to be able to get the proper support and the proper guidance on how to get your book and story out there, right? And so with that supportive community, with that supportive coach, right? You're able to move from I want to write a book to holding your first draft in your hand. And when I tell you, y'all, there is nothing like holding your first draft in your hand, holding your book in your hand, having your launch party, and then realizing that you are changing lives with your story. It's a feeling like no other, right? And so this is one of the reasons why I created a course to help you move through those different stages of writing a book and having the proper support to even do that. I even have a one-on-one program that I offer one-on-one coaching for folks who want to finish their entire first draft of their book in 60 to 90 days, right? So what does it look like us to move through this process together, to have someone help you see your ideas and kind of look at it from a bird's eye view and give you the proper guidance to get to that final draft, right? And then when we think about being able to hold that product in our hand, it's it's transformative, right? And then when you have someone who reads your book and realize that's me, that's my story too. I was just afraid to tell it, or I didn't have the permission to tell my story, but now I do. It's like nothing that I have ever experienced. So I just wanted to hop on here real quick and kind of give you all a little bit deeper dive on why I decided to build Byrd's World and to give people the opportunity to again inspire and transform lives one story at a time. And I am on a mission to help as many women of color tell their stories. So if you have ever thought about writing a book but did not have the tools, find yourself procrastinating and needed the accountability and support to move you forward in that process, look here, I'm your girl. If you just want to hop on a call and talk a little bit more about some of the things that you have been struggling with. What are some of your biggest challenges? Like, type in the chat what have been some of your biggest challenges in writing your book, and we can have a conversation about that. And if this is something that you might be interested in doing, what I want to be able to do, I'm grabbing a link real quick, is offer you all the opportunity to schedule a discovery call with me, just so we can learn more about some of your challenges and learn more about Bird's world, and then even take that information and see if there's a possibility of us moving forward together so that you can see your dream and your vision come alive. I am a firm believer in dreaming and dreaming big, and then finding ways to make that dream happen. And for some of us, making that dream happen is in writing a book and setting yourself up as an expert in a specific area, or setting yourself up in telling stories and opening up the door for transformation and conversation. So I hope that this was helpful for someone. I hope that if you are someone who is writing a book, let's have a conversation. Let's hop on a discovery call and see what we can do together to help move you forward in your vision and make your vision a reality. So make sure you check out that link in the comment box. If you are joining us for the replay, introduce yourself, let folks know who you are, where you're coming from, and also let us know what has been your biggest challenge when it comes to writing your first book. I can't wait to build with you all. I can't wait to be here more and have more conversations about what it means to be able to get your story out into the world and really make a difference in sharing your story, and let folks know all the things that you have not only overcome, but all the things that you have to offer in this world. Y'all, until next time, I want to make sure that you all know that I see you. And that now that you have watched this, now that you have been a part of this community, I want to let you know that you are a hummingbird and you have the power to transform so many people with your message. And I want to encourage you to tell and to speak that message into existence so that you can just make the world a better place. We need more people like you. So I want to let you know that I see you and that you are a hummingbird and that you are not alone. I want to encourage you to keep exploring, keep writing, and as always, keep flying, y'all.